Plans by the football manager Harry Redknapp to demolish a former hotel and replace it with posh apartments would result in 30 people being made homeless, including several with disabilities, cancer sufferers, ex-offenders and other vulnerable individuals, according to opponents to the scheme. Clifford Henley, one of the residents, claimed Redknapp, who was sacked by Birmingham City in September, stood to make a fortune from the 21 flats and 3 mews houses, adding, "To be chucking 30 blokes on the streets with no consideration whatsoever, it's brutal." Henley claimed the proposals would mean the destruction of this perfectly habitable building for massive profit. "It's just walking over poor people." But a spokesman for Redknapp's company defended the scheme, saying the planned development of 1- and 2-bedroom properties is not posh, with prices ranging between £160,000 and £300,000, and was open to buyers using the government's Help to Buy scheme. The Victorian building in Bournemouth provides bedsit accommodation, and those opposing the plans include the leaseholders, Jerry and Wendy Hunt, aged 80 and 78, who started running the premises as a hotel almost 30 years ago, and are among those who would be made homeless, along with their son, who uses a wheelchair. Henley said he found the plans particularly galling because Bournemouth was the town that made Harry Redknapp, the 70-year-old played for Bournemouth during the early 1970s and began his long career as a manager at the club in 1983. Redknapp and his wife Sandra are the sole directors of Pierrot Developments, the property company behind a number of planned residential schemes in the Bournemouth, Poole and Torquay areas. In March 2016, Pierrot paid £1.25 million for the freehold of the former Belgravia Hotel, in the town's East Cliff Conservation Area, at which point they became the Hunts' landlord. A few months later, the couple received notice that their tenancy would end in June 2017 because the company wanted to pull down the late 19th century building and build flats. However, Pierrot's original plans for 32 flats were turned down by Bournemouth Council in February, partly on the grounds that the proposed development was overly large and unsympathetic, would be unsuitable for a conservation area and would not provide a high standard of living conditions for future occupants. The council said the proposals failed to make an appropriate contribution towards affordable housing. Undeterred, the Redknapps are pressing on with the scheme and have put in a fresh application for a smaller block of apartments, plus the mews houses. The planning application says the building currently provides low-quality bedsit accommodation. The Hunts bought the property in 1988 and run it commercially as a large house in multiple occupation, HMO. There are 9 studio flats, 1 flat and 19 bedrooms, and it is home to 28 people, all men, some of whom have lived there for up to 10 years. The Hunts live in a cottage in the grounds, which would also be demolished. Hunt said a number of the residents were disabled or suffered ill health and received personal independence payments, PIP, the benefit that helps with the extra costs of a long-term health condition or disability.